Assalamualaikum and a very good afternoon for everyone. So I am Siti KHADIJAH binti KAMARUDIN from TESL SMP 21 to 26. Today I will be reflecting on my ESL lesson, which is using Gibbs reflective cycle and teaching journals. Today I'll be sharing a reflection from my practicum session, which is so first of all, this is the overview of my presentation today. We'll have the introduction, and then we'll have the description, feelings, evaluation, action plan, and then I'll explain to you why I chose Gibbs cycle, why I chose teaching journals, and then the differentiation between teaching journals and my previous reflection, and then the conclusion. So let's start with the introduction. So the reflection today will be the sharing of a reflection is from my practicum with class 5 titanium on 25th of October in 2024, where I conducted a lesson on the topic of going away for year 5. And then the focus of the lesson plan was on listening, which is the main skill, and then writing skills as the complementary skills with the integration of grammar point, which is be going to in both affirmative and negative forms. So for this reflection, I use, you can see that for the reflection that I did, I'm using a Gibbs reflective cycle, which has four stages. And then the 4 stages are description, feelings, evaluation, and action plan, as I have introduced to you at the overview. I also recreated my reflection using teaching journal, which helped me reflect more consistently and meaningfully on my teaching practice. Okay, let's move on. We're done with the introduction. So now, here goes the description. So the lesson that I did had 5 key stages, as we all know, which are set induction, presentation, practice, production, and closure. So first of all, I'll introduce you to my lesson plan, where in the set induction, I used a quizzes game to activate students' prior knowledge, and they were very engaged. And then during presentation, this is what I wrote in my reflection previously. During presentation, students listened to an audio text about a trip to Australia and answered comprehension questions. And then during the practice stage, the practice activity involved listening to 3 short texts and answering questions using a worksheet that I have prepared for them. In the production stage, students wrote about my dream holiday using the be going to structure that the integrated grammar. And most of them wrote more than required. Which is if I for example, if I was asking to write about 2 to 3 sentences, they wrote like 5 to 6. And then I closed the lesson with a recap, helping students to remember, consolidate their understanding. Okay, done with the description. Let's move on to feelings. So the first stage of Gibbs cycle was description, and then the feelings. So what did I write for the feelings stage? Because as we all know, Gibbs has 4 stages. So I felt excited when students showed interest in the quizzes game and proud when they exceeded expectations in the writing task. So this is the kind of feelings that I write in my reflection. And then, however, okay, I also felt a bit cornered during the practice stage because students struggled with question 3, okay, which required 3 repetitions to clarify. So the feelings here are excited, and then I have not cornered, it's concern. I'm sorry. And then concern, proud, happy, and then last one was that moment made me reflect on the clarity of my instructions and whether I had provided enough scaffolding. So maybe kind of dissatisfaction because of my mistakes I did during the lessons. So we've done with the description, and now we are in the feelings. So let's move on to evaluation. So this is the third stage of Gibbs reflection cycle. So this is where I reflect, I evaluate, where I question myself what went well and what needed improvement. So in the reflection, I wrote what went well. The set induction successfully captured attention. And then students showed creativity and effort during the writing task because they wrote more than what I intended them to. And then giving immediate feedback, as I was giving immediate feedback, help them okay, sorry. As I was giving immediate feedback, it helped them correct their answers and reinforce more learning, their learning. And then I questioned myself, what do I need to improve in my reflection previously? So what I needed to improve was question 3 confused several students even after multiple repetitions. So that was one thing, the areas of improvement. And then the instructions. My instructions may have lacked clarity or enough examples that made them hard to complete the task and anything, some sort. And then last one is some students struggle with idea generation for writing without prompts. So this is where I learned where students need prompts for writing. So this is the areas of improvement that I need to reflect on. So overall, while the learning objectives were achieved, these challenges highlighted the need to improve how I support and guide students through tasks. Okay, so now is the last stage of Gibbs cycle. Let's move on to action plan. I'm sorry. So based on this reflection, I've come up with the following action plan, which are including clearer examples and visuals when explaining tasks. Maybe some of the students need more detailed explanations and all. So clear examples and visuals are crucial. And then I need to add a short brainstorming session before writing activities of what they need to write, what they have to discuss on. So the action plan is after what I have questioned myself. So I come up with the action plan in my reflection. And then the third one is provide visual or written prompts to help students generate ideas. The same one as like giving prompts, giving them what they need to, giving them ideas. And then giving them a head start so that they know what to do, they know what to write. If it's a speaking or listening activity, they know what to listen to, what to talk about. And then start using a teaching journal to track progress and reflect more deeply the action plan that I'm about to explain later. And then continue applying Gibbs model after each lesson to guide my reflection, so that I have 4 stages that completely and put me to reflect on my lessons in details, so that I know what needs to be improved, what went well, so that I don't feel demotivated. And then what kind of feelings that I felt during that time. So I have to use I kind of have to use Gibbs model regularly to ensure that better outcomes are coming. Okay, so let's move on to the next one, which is why I chose Gibbs cycles. Okay, the reasons are I chose Gibbs cycles because it provides a clear structure for reflecting, just like I said previously, not just on what happened, but also on how I felt, what worked, what did my effort work, and how I can improve something from that. How can I improve a few areas? And then Gibbs cycle also balances both the emotional and practical aspects of teaching. Most importantly, it ends with an action plan, which is like the solution that I have to implement for the next class, pushing me to apply what I've learned to future lessons. It's also easy to apply regularly because it's just me and my opinion and my reflection. So making it ideal for continuous professional development. Because as I am using Gibbs cycle regularly, it helps me improve more for future class, future lessons, something like that. Okay. And then, okay, sorry. So why I chose teaching journals, you can see here. Okay. I recreated my reflection using a teaching journal because it offers more structure and depth than my earlier paragraph style reflections. Journaling helped me reflect consistently and spot patterns across lessons. I could clearly organize my entries using the 4 stages of Gibbs cycles under teaching journals. So unlike my previous reflection, which makes thoughts together and then everything is just chunked in paragraphs, like it's not really organized thoroughly. Journaling gave me clear sections, making it easier. Like it has parts by parts, it has sections, easier to identify what worked and what didn't and what need to be improved. So those 3 things are the most important things in reflecting. So I have to be more detailed and more organized, have sections parts by parts. Okay, moving on to teaching journal versus previous reflection. So it has 4 aspects, which are structure, the frequency, clarity, and actionable. So for previous reflection, the structure is paragraph based. If for teaching journal, it's organized using Gibbs model. I'll show you the rewritten reflection using teaching journal after this. And then for the frequency, previous reflection is just one off. And then teaching journal is continuous reflection. It's better. And then for clarity, previous reflection is mixed ideas. Everything is mixed together, and I cannot differentiate what is for what. Like what is feelings should be where, descriptions and something like that. What need to be improved. So for teaching journal, it has clear sections. Last one is actionable. Previous reflection, sometimes it's vague. But teaching journal, it ends with an action plan. Okay, so this is my teaching journal entry. Okay, let me zoom. So here is the teaching journal entry, where first one I have date and time. When and what is the date and what is the time? It's from 8 to 10, and then it's 25th of October. And then the brief description of the lesson. How can I zoom here? Okay, wait. And then the brief description of the lesson. What is the lesson focusing on? What is the topic? Okay, and then which class, how many students, how many audience, and then the language focus. What is the language focus? The integrated grammar activities included throughout the lessons. And then we have the observations. So students were highly engaged during the quizzes game at the beginning of the lesson. So this is what I observe. This is the teaching journey entry. So what I observe, first one, students, my observation first. And then second, most students were able to listen and answer comprehension questions, even though question 3 was challenging. So all of these are just observations. We haven't go into improvement or anything. And then what do I observe? One more, during the writing task, many students wrote more than what I intended them to, showing enthusiasm. However, a few students struggled to get started and needed more support to brainstorm ideas. So my reflection is, I was pleased with the overall level of participation. And then the quizzes activity effectively captured students' attention. Writing tasks allowed them to express more about themselves creatively. However, notice some instructions may be lacking here and there, a bit ambiguous, not clear, especially during the listening activity. And then students who struggle to start the writing task would have benefited from visual aids or short idea sharing session. And then this is what I reflect. Lesson reminded me of importance of differentiating support for different types of learners, and some students needed more scaffolding more than others. So different type of cognitive levels, something like that. And then I move on to the question. What do I ask myself? Just like the guild cycle, but this one, the question, how can I make listening tasks clearer, easier for them to follow? And then what strategies can I use to support students who have difficulty generating ideas during writing tasks? And then how can I better prepare students for multi-step tasks without overwhelming them? And then last one is action plan. So I use visual action plan. I use visual prompts and sentence structures when explaining comprehension tasks. Add a short brainstorming activity, review and simplify instructions before listening tasks, and model one question beforehand to ensure clarity. Like I have to show the question and what kind of answer do I want them to give me. And then I keep using digital tools like quizzes for engagement during set induction, because that's what makes the students engaging in my lessons and interested to start the lesson with me. Okay, so that is the teaching journal entry that is different, a bit different from my previous reflection, which just everything is just chunked in and mixed in a paragraph base. So teaching journal entry gives me more detailed sections. All right, so last one is the conclusion. In conclusion, applying Gibbs reflective cycle helped me analyze my lesson more deeply and identify what to improve. But switching to teaching journaling made my reflections more organized, more detailed, consistent, and useful for future development. And then I believe that using both tools together will help me become a more thoughtful and effective ESL teachers. Because as you know, reflection, better teaching, better learning outcomes, more development as a teacher. So I think that is all for me. Thank you for listening. That is all for my presentation today. Thank you very much.